All right, so good morning to you, or good afternoon, wherever you are following us from. This is the Horrible Nation Talk Show. And then today, this be the major, let me say, the very first edition of this show. So we are going to have a lot of things to discuss with you this morning. Okay, a lot of things, or probably let me say this afternoon, it depends, because those back home in Nigeria right now, I'm very sure it is already 5 p.m. down, going to 6 p.m. over there. So yeah, on Horeb Nation Talk Show, so we talk about relationship, we talk about education, we talk about so many, many other things, music, fashion, I mean, name it. But basically, mostly we are more into relationship discussions. Okay, so this morning, I have a guest with me, and then we'll be looking at the misconceptions that both Africans and Black Americans have towards themselves as related to relationships. Things we actually think about each other when it comes to relationships. So there are a lot of them. So we are going to be looking at them this morning. And then I have a guest with me. There's a guest with me today. I'm not going to be talking about all this alone. I have a guest with me. But before I introduce her to you, yeah, it is a she actually. I've already made what's the gender of the person. But before I do that, let's go for a break and I'll be right back. All right, like I said, so back to the studio here. Misconceptions about between Africans and Black Americans related to relationships. Why we're just trying to stream it, streamline it to that level, so that because we have so many misconceptions. And today on the show, I have this young woman, woman who has actually decided for sometimes live with Africans. I mean, have Africans as friend, and then she decided this morning, to take part in this show and then share her views, with us all here. Please, I requesting that if you're watching, please share, and then when the discussion start, I would love you to actually, share your comment, give your opinion on this show. Please let me introduce you to quickly, Asia Gaze. Hi, Asia.
Hey,
How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I mean, firstly, I really want to appreciate you for accepting, to be on this show this morning.
No problem. No problem. I'm glad to be here.
That's really beautiful. So, can you probably more introduce yourself to people, because I think you could do better than me introducing you.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Asia. I am from Atlanta, Georgia. I currently am employed at the Environmental Defense Fund. I live here in Oxford, Mississippi. And yeah, that's just a little
Okay,
overview.
okay, that's beautiful. Then, to lay some background, in this, let me ask first, do you have African friends?
Oh, yes. I have a lot.
And
I
then
was listening last
yeah,
night.
you have a lot of them. And then two, have you dated an African?
I have.
Okay, so I mean these foundationals, actually will guide you in expressions or things you will be saying, because you have actually, you know, um have someone you've seen live, what it means to live with Africans, or probably dated an African guy, so you understand, what it is all about. So yeah, so let's start, the real discussions. Okay, we're going to start the real discussion, guys. Are you ready? So if you definitely have some of those misconceptions that that you think that, okay, Africans have towards, Black Americans, especially Black American women. Okay, let me say that basically, and also what Black American women also have, towards African men. So please drop messages, drop your comments. If once you drop a comment, I'm definitely going to see it and I'm going to share it with people. That's how it's going to be. So we'll be back again before we go into the deep discussions. All right, back to the studio again, to the Horeb Nation Talk Show. Please follow me on, as you can see right there, follow me on Instagram at Horeb Nation underscore Horeb underscore official 360, on Facebook, Horeb Nation, TikTok, Horeb Nation. And then you can also follow me on YouTube, okay, so that you can see some of these shows at the end. We definitely have to put it there. So let's start discussions deeply. Let's start with Black American women first. I want to tell you some things that people actually, the concept misconceptions that probably I would say some African men have towards Black American women. Now, the first thing, we'll take them one after the other. So let me show you some of them. So they says some Black American women are said to have many baby daddies. They easily get divorced. They prefer fast food to cooking, and a lot of things. So let's take them one after the other.
Yeah.
The question of having many baby daddies, is it a misconception or it is a reality?
Uh, I would say, if I had to be honest, I would say it's a little bit of both. It is true there are some people, but there are misconceptions. Like a person like me, but I've been told that I'm rare because I don't have children. I'm 26 years old with no kids, but there are people who are my age who do have multiple baby daddies. But I also do think that it comes from the dating culture in America. So, like, I've been telling people that the dating pool sucks. It's like, you know how when you were little, you had to use the bathroom and you peed in the pool. There's pee in the dating pool.
Okay.
So it is hard to find good people. And when you think you find a good person, this is just from my experience from my friends who do have children. It's just like you fall into this trap of thinking that this person is a good person and blase blase. And when you try to get out of the situation, or if things happen and you end up with kids, so I would say yes, not all of them have a whole bunch of kids. I mean, some have one with one, and then some have another, but it's a mix. It
Okay.
is true, and then it's not.
Okay. Now, because believing that this is not making me to actually go deep into that, but can we actually know what are the causes? Because these things do not just happen. I believe it might be happen. I've heard that people usually talk about being a single mom by choice, but
Mhm.
let's put that aside. Are there circumstances that actually make that bring this thing to be? I know no woman would definitely want to just say, okay, just I would just want to be a single mom. Like, what are the factors that you think that actually push Black American women into those situations?
Mm. So, like, you can have a kid like me. I'm a product of a divorced couple. So, my dad cheated on my mom. And with that being said, there are some strong women. Like, I'm not going to take that. So, if you want to go do what you want to do, go ahead and do it by yourself. And then, so that can be a cause of, leaving. There's cheating. It can be that the person isn't ready to take care of a family. There are some men out there who don't necessarily want kids, or they don't see themselves having kids with that particular woman. So that therefore it's like I don't want to have a kid with you, so I'm not gonna be with you, so I'm out. And then there are just circumstances where there's pure denial. Like, I've seen it firsthand. Of a woman was pregnant, and then literally the baby daddy, the guy was like, "That's not my kid. I'm not dealing with you." But we all knew it was his child. So there are many. Those are the things that come to my mind, like right off the bat, like infidelity, not ready, don't want to be with that person necessarily, or have kids with them. Yeah, those are things that directly come to mind.
Okay, so let's see if we have some comments here. Okay. We have Regina that said men who don't accept responsibility for their actions. So
Most
yeah,
definitely.
those are one of the reasons men who they don't accept responsibilities for their actions. So they are part of the reasons why we actually have that. Let's see, what did he say? Say cuckoo. I'm following. I love the topic of discussions. Okay, merci. This is this is French. So if you see cuckoo, it means hi in French. So if you're learning French, actually, so that's part of you know learning. So yeah, last you see, you can actually drop your comment, whatever you think, are the reasons why all these are going on. So, Aisha, let's look at do we have some other things? Yeah, we talk about baby daddies, and then the question of getting easily divorced. Okay,
Mm.
we'll take them one after the other, like I said. So getting easily divorced. People feel like, yeah. I had a friend of mine that said, "Well, I don't think, I mean, Black Americans, women, just for a little things, you hear like, I'm gonna take you to court, like I'm gonna take you to court house. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be in this. So things like that. But do you think it is a reality? I know you probably might not have witnessed this before. You haven't been in this situation. It might be difficult for you, to talk about. But definitely, you had friends or probably who have been in these shoes.
Yeah, so divorce is a real thing, but I also, for me, I believe that um, d- divorce. Okay, I'm gonna take my own example with my parents, and I don't care because they're my parents, and this is my story, and I'm gonna tell it. I really don't care. So, with a circumstance like that, when there is infidelity in a relationship and you can't get past that, if there's no trust, then you don't need to be with that person. So that is a thing of divorce. And unfortunately, black men do cheat. Not all of them.
Okay,
Because
some black
that's the
men.
thing. It is a full thing that black men don't cheat, but some of them do. Not all of them, but some of them do. So, with that being said, it's like if you're one of the women that now people say standing on business, like of course I'm gonna leave because you cheated on me. You thought that there was something else out there better than me. So have a good day. But there are some women that do, black women that you use divorce as like a hanger over a guy's head to get what they want, and that's not necessarily right. But I mean that's just what they do. Not all black women, but some do. I have seen it before. Well, if you don't get this together, then we might as well just go on and get a divorce. That type of mentality, which is definitely toxic. Do not condone. 0 out of 10 recommend. Um, but I do think that there is a high divorce rate within black women, but that's only because of circumstances. And women nowadays are gaining more of their power back. Like back in the day, like a couple in the 1960s would tell you, no, divorce is a cop out. You need to stick with that person. Y'all made a commitment to each other. Work it out. People these days like, oh, it's an easy fix. And on the law side, you have two different types of divorces: contested and non-contested. Contested is where one person wants and the other one doesn't, and there's like a battle. Non-contested, we're both out of here, quick, easy, sign the papers, we're done. um so with that being said, like if it's non-contested, okay, let's go to the courthouse right quick, get a lawyer, you get your lawyer, we get what we want, you know what I want, I'm gonna take the house, you take the kids, the dog, the pills, whatever, and have a great day. So I think that it is a thing that happens, but I don't necessarily like think that it's a way to escape your problems, but it is something that black women do participate in.
Okay, so guys, I think you've actually heard giving our opinions on it. Is open for you all out there, watching us right now. Drop your comment, things you feel, that are necessary, into this. When we're talking about responsibilities earlier, why black American women actually getting to have baby daddies or those things. So I have a we have Regina that said men who don't accept responsibilities for their actions are the reasons. I think she is also saying, I don't believe that black women get easily divorced. Black women are strong and resilient, and most will go through the valley back before divorce. But coming into today, like Asia said, women are taking back their power and not setting for what people think we deserve. So when she said we deserve, she's actually, talking about black women. So I think this it's gonna be a different topic that we'll be looking at, women getting their power back. Okay, we'll be looking at it because as it is positive, there are advantages on it, and we also have the disadvantages because it feels, I don't know, I've not getting the statistics, but it just seems that these days there are more, like we are having, divorce rate is increasing as we are getting the power back. So, like, there's a lot of things definitely we'll be looking at that. But Regina, thank you so much for that. Yeah, that's why I said some Black American women. So it's not all Black American women in general. Okay,
Mm.
so I just want to put that out there for you and out for others to actually see. We have there are some other things that we need to also look into, but before that, let's take a break and then we'll be right back. All right, guys, if you're watching this show, just believe you're on the Horeb Nation Talk Show. And then today we're talking about the misconceptions that both Africans and Black Americans, have, against themselves, when it's related to, relationships. That we've talked about a lot of things here, but we still have some other ones that we will be looking into. So we are still with Black American women as they're concerned. Now, oh, this is another misconception that Black American women prefer fast food to cooking. I had no, there was this video. I don't have it here. I looked for it yesterday to actually play it so that we can actually learn from it. There was this young African man that was talking about it. He said, no, African women are trained to cook, so he loves to eat food made at home. But most of the Black American women he has dated, they just want to go to McDonald's, go to Wendy's, go to Popeyes, and then he's not ready, for that. So that's the reason why he definitely doesn't think so. He needs to go there. But that's another misconception. But before you reply, I think we have a comment. Let me see. This is from La CC. Lasisi Toib said, lack of responsibility from both parties can probably lead to divorce. The man or the woman cheating also, getting pregnant for another person while being in a relationship is another factor leading to divorce. So these situations keep making a lot of baby mamas. Yeah, so baby mamas, like I said, I was talking to someone 2 days ago and he said there is what now they call being a single mama by choice. So not just being, so you decide to be, but we'll have it in subsequent, discussions. Thank you, Lasisi. Thank you for that comment. So back to you, Asia. The question of food. So is that true?
Ah, that is going to be hard, but I'm not going to say necessarily that it's true. But the thing is, we have to look at, I'm going to go historical on this. So it was when the Great Migration happened, when segregation, um, I should say desegregation started becoming a thing. Um, a lot of women were starting to get jobs, and traditionally, men were the breadwinners. And so now you're asking me to break out of my traditional role of me being the breadwinner, and now my wife is making money and sometimes has a better job than me. I mean, they were like teachers and secretaries and stuff like that. So with that happening, a lot of men were leaving the home. So women were left to fend for the whole family. Let's just say I'm single. I was married. I've got 3 kids because back then they believed in having a lot of kids. People still do now, but not as much because they cost a lot. But anyway, there there was a shift. So if I'm having to work full time because we got a house to pay for, we got food to pay for, there are things that come with running a household. So when I get home at the end of the day, who wants to stand over a hot stove? Now there were some that did it, but who wants to do that? And plus, this also brings in when fast food became a thing. It's like if I know that I have this accessibility, why should I, take the time to stand over a stove when I got to help kids with homework because ain't nobody gonna help them but me. And back then, education was a thing, so like that's how that formed, I will say. And then of course we all know things pass on by generation, generation. And then as the economy grows, we have business after business after business, fast food place after fast food place. So therefore, there that became that stereotype. But there are some women that do like to cook. But now we live in the age of 2023 where there is meal prep. There are some traditional homes that women that still cook, but then there also are um households where there is like a thing of fast food. Like, you know, I keep my nieces and nephews all the time, and when they're here, I'm like, okay, would y'all prefer Chick-fil-A or do y'all want me to cook a meal? Like, what are we doing here? Because sometimes it's easier, especially if you have a lot of children. Like, it can get expensive. Sometimes spending $30 at Chick-fil-A is a heck of a lot better than spending to something at the grocery store, and you still got to take time to cook it versus when I can pay this $30 and my kids are full and they're fine. I don't have to worry about something until later on. You know what I'm saying? But even though it does go into budgeting, but I'm not gonna go into all that.
Okay.
It's a mix up. There's two boxes of that because you have your traditional woman who will do it, and then you have your modern woman.
Okay. Like I said, this is just, basically today just for us to demystify or demystify rather, those misconceptions that people have, towards, Black American women.
Mm-hmm.
I like personally for me, having come to America, like I said, I had to take my time to understand that things sometimes are just culture. These are how things happen. Because if you keep comparing people to you, the way you do things, it might definitely be difficult. You need to understand from what, historical context, political context, because there are a lot of contexts that are involved, when you see people acting or doing things, in certain way. So guys, we are still on now. That's just about Black American women. So let's see what are the misconceptions that they have, Black American women actually have towards African men. Please, if you're an African man, you are out there and you're watching, please drop a comment. What do you think? By the time we start talking about those misconceptions, please drop a message and then let's see how it goes. Let's take a break and I will be right back. Please do not forget to share. Just share so that we can have so many people, following and then watching this show and then dropping their opinions. We'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back to the studio. This is the Horeb Nation Talk Show, and we've been talking about misconceptions between Africans and Black Americans as related to relationships. We've actually looked at, the misconceptions that African men actually have towards, Black American women, and then our guest on the show today, Asia guest, has actually explained to us, a lot of things. She has, talk about a lot of factors, from there, trying to explain to us, what those things actually means. But now we also have some misconceptions, towards African men. And I will be looking at, some of them right now. So there's some African men are said to be controlling. That's one. African men are said to be controlling. They are said to be abusive. They are polygamous. They said, oh, that's the language. They love to have many women, and then they quickly want to get married to you once they meet you. Okay, so these are some misconceptions that we think they are misconceptions because so now we need to actually talk about them and take them one after the other. We might not have much time to just go deep, into this because the question of polygamy is it's a topic on its own. Being quickly to want to get married to you, it's another topic.
Mm-hmm.
Controlling is another topic. So we will take them one after the other. So here, I think probably I might be talking more than you, or also because the fact that you have also dated an African man. So I definitely want to see your opinion, hear your opinion on this in particular topic. So let's take them one after the other. Like we said, the first one, the African men are said to be controlling. They say they control people. Now, you have been in a relationship with an African man. So, how do you judge this point? Do you think he was controlling?
No, not at all.
Not at
Um,
all.
I think that people confuse the word controlling with assertive, and having an assertive man is not necessarily a bad thing. That just means that he knows how to lead. You want a man that knows how to lead. And also, think about African men that people don't realize, they're blunt and straight to the point. They're not gonna sugarcoat it. Ain't nobody got time to be running around in the circles and
Yes.
and not getting straight to the point. So I'm gonna tell you like it is and how I like things. Now, whether you can measure up to that or not, that's up to you. And if not, I'm already knowing they will be on about their business. But controlling, no, it's assertiveness, and that's actually should be an attribute to a certain extent. But I
Okay.
can't speak for all of them. I don't know, but mine
Yeah.
was definitely not controlling.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I think that's exactly what it is. Just like you said, I do tell people until when African women say their men are controlling, then I will accept. Because I keep asking African women, do you think your men are controlling? And I haven't gotten yes. So then I'm trying to understand this as cultural thing. Like every African man wants to be like, I think it's for every man. I don't know here in America much, but every man has the ego of wanting to lead his house. Now, that leading is what probably I think like Black American women consider as controlling. Because I've heard from so many people that, well, you don't need to tell me what I have to do. You can tell me this, you can tell me that. And that's one thing about an African man. Oh, you can be with me because we believe a marriage, a home to be an institution. And in an institution, there is a leader. Now, the question is, who is a leader? That's going to be another topic entirely because I've heard people saying, oh, if you can't provide, if you can't do anything, you can't call yourself a leader. So you can't be a leader in the house when you don't provide, you don't you don't give me money, you don't do this, those fat talks. So we'll be looking at leadership. But that's one thing. So African men want to, they definitely want to lead. Now, even if you are earning millions of dollars per month, and then he's your husband, he definitely, it doesn't matter how much you're earning, like
Mhm.
even if he's earning less, he still has that ego. He wants to lead, he wants to know what is happening, he wants to have the final say in his house. Now another thing is, I don't know why women do this. Even if you say superstar women, let's say these days, I mean, I'm talking about women these days. Superstar women, they get bouncers, people for to control their security, whatever. And when they are going somewhere, the security man says, "No, ma'am, you shouldn't go there." They listen to them. Okay, they listen to them. But when a man you love, the man that you love says the same thing, you feel he's controlling you. Probably because you are paying the other one and you're not paying this one, or probably there are feelings, but that's actually how an African man feels. That's how he sees himself. Oh, like me personally, I tell if I'm in a relationship with you and you're going to take a step, and I know from experience, if you take this step, it's not going to be good or the outcome is going to be bad. I mean, no matter what you say, I'm going to stand. I prefer you shouting and then at the end, and then you get the solution, and then you come back to me and say, thank you for standing, than me just leaving the road. And then, because whatever happens to you, it affects everyone in the relationship. Whatever happens to me affects you too, except if we don't understand it, at that point. So for me, controlling the language controlling is not really what it is. And I don't think it's general, to every African man out there. I've heard from Black American friends that I met who married African men that I've never talked about their men being controlling, but probably they get to study them and then understand. I suggest that people study whoever they are with and stop, having general um, thinking or probably general ideas about those things. Okay, let's move to the next one. uh what was that? Okay, abusive. Hmm.
Mm,
African men being abusive. uh Mostly I've just heard people saying it. I've not heard any real Black American women telling me oh, my man was abusive. Like it just basically thinks the hair, it's just a hearsay, not like anyone actually had the experience. I feel it's just a hearsay. Personally, for me, I haven't seen it from my dad. I haven't seen it for any of my cousins, or probably my brothers, raising hands on their wives. Never. It has never happened. So I really don't know where people get, this concept from. But I don't know your experience.
Well, for me, no, we're not even finna play that game. I did not any. I did not experience any abuse first and foremost. Secondly, I think that comes from from how like the media portrays African men, like the movies and the stereotypes that have been pushed down to us. So he gonna beat you. You gonna do what he tell you to do. The African man gonna beat you. I've heard it.
It's gonna take you to Africa. You never come back to
Oh yeah, he's
America.
gonna take you to Africa, girl. You're never gonna come back. Or he's gonna take your kids over there. You're never gonna see your kids again. Are you crazy? Like what? Who does that? Like it's 2023, about to be 2024. We ain't no. First of all, I'm gonna say this: African men, when they love hard. And
Hmm.
the last thing they're gonna want to do to you is hurt you intentionally. Now I don't know, you get you a G boy or a Yahoo boy, that might be a little bit different. But I will say, African men are the sweetest people. So putting their hands on somebody, no.
African man, clap for yourself. I don't know the African man you dated, but I think he did a good job.
I think he did too. He did a wonderful job.
Okay, so your African man, where was he from in Africa?
He was from Nigeria.
Oh, Nigerian man. Okay, I'm
Uh-huh.
Nigerian too. I mean, that's one African man that people usually talk about mostly, like
Mhm.
Nigerians.
Mhm.
You kind of hear about them everywhere. They are mostly
Yep,
everywhere. A man said, if you go anywhere and you don't see a Nigerian dead, run away. It means there's nothing to do there. If
that
there is
makes
something
sense.
to do to make money, a Nigerian will be there, definitely.
That makes sense. Sorry.
Okay. The next one on the list is African men being polygamous. Now, let's say polygamous here could be in context of marriage, but in relationship, let's talk about probably cheating. Like they could date many women at the same time. Um, I don't know from my experience. If I'm with someone, I'm with that person. That's one thing I know. Is either I'm with you or I'm not with you. That's one thing. Um, I'm not going to stand here and say there are people that double date, or I don't know if they triple date or quadruple date or whatever it is, you
Mhm.
know. But this is not a general thing. It's not a general thing. Yeah, I know for marriages, yes, polygamy is accepted in Africa, not here, but it's cultural, and there are a lot of things involved in it. If we definitely want to talk about polygamy, that's going to be for another day. But you, have you heard of that too? That they
I've
cheat?
heard the misconception. Yes, I heard that there is a tier list of wives, but I did not experience that. I'm along the lines with you. Majority, even my friends, the African men that are my friends, they don't. A number one, they don't tolerate cheating. Okay, no cheating whatsoever. There's the door. Number
Okay.
two, number two, like, and this is for every human. Relationships are a job. So if you feel like you gotta have multiple people, that's 3 or 4 full time jobs. So who has the time or the energy to do that? Not me. So therefore, I would say I haven't seen that. I think it's a newer generation and going for that. From what I've heard and learned, that's something of the past, but now has since changed. So
Okay. So, guys, before we go for the last one, which means when an African man meets you, this is what Black American women say. I don't know if our white friends also say the same, or probably other, um, uh, I mean, skin colors. That's what I said. It's just a question of skin colors because we are all human beings, be it white, blue, black, whatever it is. So we are all human beings. Now, but we're talking about here basically, concerning blacks. He said when a black man, an African man basically meets you, They don't waste time. The next thing you hear is, I want to marry you. I love you. So I've heard that from Black Americans a lot. They say, why do African men always say that? Like, it doesn't work that way here. But okay, let's take a break and then we'll come back. We talk about that very one. All right, so back. African men quickly said to women, Black American women, they meant that they want to marry them. So,
Mhm.
let's talk about the tradition here. What's the tradition? Like when you meet a woman, how long should it take before you tell the woman you want to marry her?
So I think this is my own personal thing. I think that you meet somebody, you date them to get to know them,
Okay.
and boyfriend and girlfriend, then engaged and married. And that's how I think it works.
Okay,
Now,
that's the structure, the
that's
stages.
the structure. Now, the timing, everybody is different, but I would say within 6 months, 6 to 12 months, you kind of know. My grandma always taught me before you marry somebody, see them in all the seasons, see them how they act, fall, winter, really meaning see a person when they're mad, upset, happy, glad, going through things, struggling, whatever, because that's the person. If you want to marry somebody, you need to see how they're going to be through situations because life doesn't stop. You're constantly going to be going through things. There will be ups and there'll be downs. So I don't think that you should necessarily just rush right into being married. But I also think that somebody doesn't need to be engaged for 5 years. That's crazy. So
Yeah.
I think that between 6 months to a year, you should know if this is somebody that you want to be married to.
Okay. Yeah. I think yesterday I was watching a video on Facebook and the lady was saying, oh, they were in relationship for 7 years. And then after that, the guy left. And I was like, what were you doing in a relationship for 7 years?
Thank you.
Wait, because I hear people said, oh, we are studying each other. I was like, what certificate are you going to get in studying each other? So,
The
because,
extended
yeah,
PhD.
yeah, probably PhD in dating or PhD in relationship. Is that what you're trying to get?
Right.
Now, let me give you my view of what I mean, when it comes to African men, when they meet you and people say they quickly want to say they want to marry you, I'll take it from my own perspective and culture. In my culture, there was nothing. It just today that things have changed. There was nothing like boyfriend and girlfriend. They do not. Yeah, we don't have that. Okay, there's nothing like boyfriend. In fact, in my family, they are always scared that you going out there and tarnishing their image. You jump from one woman to another. You bring a woman today, and tomorrow you bring another one. They definitely don't want it. So before you introduce a woman to anyone in my family, like they believe that that's the woman you're going to be. And once they see you with a woman, it is like they just feel that's the woman you want to marry. That's how it happens where I came from. All these stages of being boyfriend, it's that's how. So most African men are from that culture. So when they see you, like the thing is, for how long people have studied themselves for 7 years and they still didn't come together. So studying for years is not a guarantee that you're going to get married. Once I said, I do tell people, if after 6 months you don't decide if you want to be with a woman or you want to be with a man, then both of you are just playing. That's it. If you get to be together and then within after 6 months and you can't see anything, you actually don't see anything, then that's the way the remaining is definitely going to be a waste of time. All this 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and then when you break up, you have to restart from zero again, and you want to build another 7 years. So that's the reason. It's a cultural thing, I need to say. There could be some other factors that are attached to it, but basically the reason why an African man sees you and tells you he wants to marry is because in most African cultures the concept of boyfriend and girlfriend are not allowed. You cannot go to my father like and bring a woman and then tell my father this is my girlfriend. He will be like, what do
Really?
you, yeah, it'll be like, what do you mean,
Wow.
girlfriend, boyfriend? So, which means you're just going to be with yourself, sleeping with yourself for as long as you want. There's no one, there's nothing. So, until then, that's when you're getting to know if you want to marry the person or not. Like, so now, if it happens that you break up, they will feel like you've done something and you tarnish the family's image, you know. And the girl, when the girl leaves you, he's feeling like this family, they are bad people, they are not good people. So you just have to make the choice right. Look at the woman, take your time, do not rush. And once you get with the woman, that's what they believe in. You know, when I was traveling, before I came to America, at the airport, my other sister asked me, Oreb, don't you think you're leaving someone behind? And I said, no, I wasn't dating anyone that, that if I am, definitely you would have known. I would have introduced the person to you immediately, because that was the structure. That was how it happened. So those are the things for me personally, from the cultural view. That's why you see an African man coming close to you and then telling you immediately, I want to get married to you, because they know at the end what's the essence of talking to a woman. If you don't want, like, if you're not feeling like, okay, I understand the concept of, um you want to get to know the person, but there's no way, you can never know people. You only know what they want you to know.
Yeah,
Yeah. In fact, people actually get, when you get married, based on what I've heard from people, because I've never been married, people show more of who they are after they actually got married.
true.
Yeah. So,
Because you can't hide it. Like it's just me and you. You can't go
yeah.
home or yeah, you can't run from it. It's there.
So, so yeah, those are the things out there. I actually want our friends, Black American women, probably to understand that when an African man tells you that, there are questions of, especially here in America, talking about, oh, he wants to marry me because he want to have a green card, he wants to have all those. Those are going to be, topics that we'll be talking about later. But right now, I'm just coming from a cultural background on why, like I said, I told you earlier, there are historical contexts that are attached to these things, that we hear, probably we see every day happening around us. So, yeah, that's the factor. That's the main thing, why I think they do that. But your man, then, I don't know, probably the man you dated then, the Nigerian. So, did he do the same thing, telling you immediately he wants to get married to you?
No.
No. So, you see,
He he I would say this individual has lived in America for a while.
to understand the
And
structure.
so he understood. And that's only based off conversation. It was only trial and error. So when that person got to me, he knew because as a regular woman, if you come at me, oh, I want to marry you, that's gonna scare me off because I don't even know, like, you don't even know my middle name. You're talking about marry me, that kind of thing. But he knew how to handle the situation. So marriage was talked about, but later on down the line, like there was intentions, like, okay, I'm not dating you to just be dating you. There's an intent to marry, but I'm not gonna do it right out the gate because I know you'll leave.
Okay, so Asia, I definitely probably want just to thank you, for accepting to come on this show and then share your opinions of these misconceptions. I know we didn't have time, or probably we are not going to have time to go deeply, into each of these things. So we just stay at the surface, but that's really, really, enough. I really want to say thank you for that, and also Regina, thank you so much for your yeah, for your comment. Also to Lasisi, thank you so much for your comment. I really appreciate. Yeah, I understand you say baby mamas and baby papa too, baby daddies. Okay, so much. And then to everyone out there that are actually watching this, okay, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. I mean, we are going to be doing this. So Horeb Talk Show is going to be something that will be consistent as time goes on. After from Facebook, we'll be moving to YouTube too, so that those that don't have access to Facebook can actually watch us live. But this is just a starting point. So Asia, once again, what do you have to say lastly to people out there when it comes to the misconceptions?
Oh, I don't have a misconception, but I have a word of advice. Once you date an African man, you cannot go back to the original.
Wait,
That's all I was saying.
once you date an African man, you cannot go
Yeah,
back to
you can't go back to dating a regular, just an American man. It doesn't work like that.
Pastor Mozart. Say good stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Mozart. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate. We appreciate this. So so once you date an African man, you cannot go back to regular
This
dating.
is not the same. Like it's
Oh,
the food, the culture, the people, all the things.
yeah, we didn't actually have time to talk about the food. You enjoy African foods,
Oh
definitely.
yes.
In fact, these days I see you more as an African woman because your choice of pidgin English these days is like I feel like what's happening? It's like what's happening?
What can be going on?
Okay, yeah, Regina, thank you so much, and thank you everyone. So like you've heard, if you date an African man for once, you are not going to go back to the normal dating. That's from Asia. Asia seeing it because of our experience in that. So every one of you, I just want to understand, most of these things are misconceptions. They are not really what you think they are. So once again, thank you so much. We will do this again next time, and then you will be informed. We'll be talking about more things, and we might have more people, joining us, so that this discussion will be deep and deeper. So yeah, let's meet again next time.
Yes, thank
Yeah, probably next
you.
Saturday. Let's see how it
Yeah,
goes. All right,
yeah.
Asia. Bye bye.
Bye.